Usually the months of January and February are pretty quiet when it comes to the world of video games. There's usually not a whole heck of a lot going on, maybe one or two big blockbuster releases, but for the most part, it's pretty quiet, especially if you've been a Nintendo owner. If you were a Wii U owner, you know that you weren't getting any games. You were getting maybe a couple indie games, and other than that, you weren't getting anything. But the Nintendo Switch has totally changed that mindset. And looking over the February list of releases, I realized there's a lot of stuff I want. There's a lot of good games coming out. And so I decided to make a video talking about the best games of February 2018 for the Nintendo Switch. Now, if you like this video idea, let me know in the comments section down below, and maybe I will make this a monthly thing where I highlight the games that I think are the most interesting for the upcoming month. But sit back, relax, and let's talk about the best upcoming Switch games for February 2018.
Hey, RGT85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards! Alright, so the first game that I want to spotlight releases on February 8th for the Nintendo Switch. Now, this game has already released on the PS4 and I believe on Steam as well, but it looks like it's finding a home on the Nintendo Switch, and that is Disc Jam. Now, what is Disc Jam? Basically, if you're an old person like me, you might remember a game called Windjammers, and Windjammers was a really addictive Neo Geo game that was really different and really unique, and Disc Jam is sort of the spiritual successor to that. Imagine tennis mixed with like Frisbee and insane wall physics and crazy bounces and stuff like that, and that's pretty much what you have with Disc Jam. Now, why I think this game is going to be really successful is the Nintendo Switch audience has really adapted Rocket League, and they really seem to love that game, and this is sort of in vein of Rocket League. Obviously, it doesn't have cars and it's not soccer, but it's tennis and it has peoples with frisbees and it has a strong online multiplayer component. There's one-on-one matches, two-on-two matches, and I can see some really crazy stuff happening with this game. The Nintendo Switch port of this game is supposedly going to run at 1080p, 60 frames per second, so this game has a lot going for it. It didn't really get great critical reviews when it released, but it seemed like a bunch of fans really enjoyed the game, and you know, people enjoyed the game more so than the critics, and I have no problem with games like that. I actually think those games are some of the most interesting and some of the most unique. So Disc Jam should definitely be on your radar. Like I said, it releases on February 8th and it looks like it's going to be an awesome time. What happens when you mix Minecraft with an RPG game? You get Dragon Quest Builders, and I know I'm not a huge fan of Minecraft. I don't like building my own stuff. I don't like playing games where there's really no point to be had, but with Dragon Quest Builders, I'm actually pretty interested in this game. Obviously, this game released on other platforms last year, but I never got around to playing it for whatever reason. So the ability to take this game wherever I go as both a world creator and of course an RPG game is really enticing to me, and the game looks like it's going to be really fun. I love Dragon Quest games. The Dragon Quest games on the 3DS, the remakes, are some of my favorite RPGs of all time. I played them on the DS, I played them on the 3DS. I pretty much have the whole collection of Dragon Quest games that have released on those platforms. And Dragon Quest Builders takes things from the Dragon Quest universe and it influences or impacts it into the Minecraft sort of universe where you're creating stuff and building stuff, but it has quests and it has boss battles and it has a reason to play the game. So that's what's really interesting to me about this game. It releases on February 9th for the Nintendo Switch. I believe it's going to be $50, and there's a demo available right now in the Nintendo Switch eShop. So if you want to see what sort of game this is, you could definitely check out the demo and see if it's something that you'll like. Honestly, I probably will end up picking this up just because I love Dragon Quest stuff that much, and I'm really interested to see what this full game has to offer me because it looks really cool. On February 13th, we have not one, not two, but three indie releases that really need to be on your radar. The first one I want to talk about is Owlboy. Now, I remember seeing Owlboy release on other platforms and talked about in a really positive manner. And I think what makes Owlboy sort of stick out a little bit for me personally is the fact that, yes, it is a retro-inspired platformer, but it's not 8-bit. It's actually 16-bit. This looks like something that would possibly run on the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis. And honestly, as much as I love 8-bit games, I'm sort of tired of seeing the 8-bit graphical style in my action platformers. So Owlboy kind of sticks out to me. It has a really refined art style. It looks really good. It's very impressive visually, and it seems like it's going to be a really solid game. I honestly don't know too much about Owlboy, but it seems like it's gotten positive reviews. The game looks absolutely gorgeous, so I need to check it out for sure. The next game that releases on February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day, so maybe you can just buy a bunch of games and tell your Valentine that you got robbed or something and you got no money, is The Fall Part 2. Now, The Fall was a game I played back on the Wii U years ago. I can't even remember when I played this game, but what's interesting to me is I still remember that game because it was actually a really good indie game. You sort of crash into this area and you're this person and you're trying to figure out things, trying to figure out what's going on, and you're sort of put into this dystopian future, and it plays out in like a side-scrolling element, but it has a lot of puzzle mechanics and there's shooting mechanics and whatnot. It's a really interesting game, and I remember sitting there thinking, all right, cool, when is part 2 of this gonna come out? And then it just never came. But here it is on the Nintendo Switch, so I might have to boot up the Wii U and play through The Fall Part 1 again to sort of refresh my memory, but I remember really enjoying that game. So The Fall Part 2, I'm really looking forward to that. The third game releasing on February 13th is The Longest 5 Minutes. Now, this is a retro-inspired RPG from being published by Nicalis. And if you have played a Nicalis game on the Nintendo Switch, you know one thing. Nicalis games are good. It's definitely worth getting Nicalis games because they're always top tier. They're always high quality. And they always throw in physical goodies. This will have both a physical and a digital release for the game. If you're a fan of retro-inspired RPGs, that sort of 16-bit style, top-down view, this is definitely a game that needs to be on your radar. It looks really promising, and I'm very interested to get my hands on it because I love old school style RPGs. That's just something I really hold dear to my heart. So, The Longest 5 Minutes, the third and final game releasing on February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. Just break up with your girlfriend. Get back with her after the 14th or something. You'll be all right. Oh, February 16th. That is a day that Switch owners get arguably one of the best Wii U exclusives in their hands. And I mean that literally and figuratively because you could play it portably, and that's super cool. But the Bayonetta Dual Pack, my God, it was so good on the Wii U. Like, I had never played Bayonetta 1 before playing it on the Dual Pack, and I played through Bayonetta 1 and I was like, wow, this game is really awesome. And then I played through Bayonetta 2 after beating Bayonetta 1 and I was like, wow, this game is really awesome too. This is great. And the fact that you're getting a Dual Pack once again on the Nintendo Switch is very cool. There has been a lot of rumors and speculation that the graphics have been improved. I've seen some side-by-side stuff and it does look like the Switch version is getting a more polished version of the game, but Bayonetta 1 and 2 are just fantastic action games. They really don't make games like this anymore. You know, that sort of Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden, Platinum style gameplay that so many people love and so many people want to see, but they always take these series in different directions. But Bayonetta has always stayed true to itself. There's just some awesome moments, awesome boss battles. There's a ton of unlockables in the game. There's a ton of different ways to play through the game with different outfits and different weapons and different things like that. It's just so addictive. There's also an online mode that I used to dabble in on the Nintendo Wii U version of the game that I always had fun with, and I'm not a big fan of double dipping, but this Bayonetta pack, I'm gonna end up doing it because it's just such a top tier game. And so many people did not get to play this game because it was only released on the Nintendo Wii U. So now that it's coming to the Switch, a whole new slew of people are gonna be able to play it, and I highly suggest you pick it up because it's just such a great time. The final game that releases in February for the Nintendo Switch comes out on February 27th. I will be settled into my new place by then. I'll have everything set up so I can dive into this game and fully explore it and love it and play it for hundreds of hours because that's what I did with the original. And I'm talking about Payday 2. Payday 2, let me tell you something about Payday, okay? The original Payday came out on the PS3, the Xbox 360, blah, blah, blah. I got it for the PS3 for like 20 bucks when it was on sale, and I was so addicted to it. I wanted to buy all of the DLC. I wanted to buy everything that the game had to offer because the gameplay style was just so much fun. Robbing banks, doing these heists with groups of people that you know, it was just so exhilarating. It was so much fun. And the fact that this is coming to the Nintendo Switch, which is my preferred platform right now, it's just great to me. I can play with my friends. I'm not worried about things like voice chat. We use Skype. We use Discord. I haven't used voice chat in an actual game. Let me tell you guys something. I don't own a PS4 headset, okay? When I play my Friday the 13th with the boys, we play via Skype. Like, I don't know. It's not a big deal to me because I'm going to be playing this game with my friends. But if you enjoy cooperative multiplayer, playing games with your friends, Payday 2 is going to be right up your alley. Doing these bank heists with all of these, different environments and stuff. There's also stealth missions. There's a ton of DLC that's been released since Payday 2 has come out that the Nintendo Switch version supposedly will have most of it. The game looks like it's going to run really well as well. I'm just going to play this game so much. It's going to be probably my most played online multiplayer multiplayer game for the first half of the year because I just love games like this, and to see this game come to the Nintendo Switch is just a joy to me. So Payday 2, it releases at the end of the month on the 27th, and I will be playing this game so much. If you're friends with me on the Switch, you're going to see Payday 2, RGT 85 all the time. All the time! Alright, and those are the games of February 2018 releasing on the Nintendo Switch that I am looking forward to the most. Now, I may have missed some games. That's not all the games that's coming out. Maybe there's another good game that's coming out that I completely missed and you feel like I should know about. Let me know in the comments below. If you plan on picking up any of these games, let me know in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, let me know in the comments below, and then subscribe and then turn on notifications so that you get all of my videos. And thank you for checking out this video. Like I said, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that like button, leave me something in the comments down below. Check out the description box. We got a Patreon, we got a website, we got shirts, we got all sorts of fun stuff there, social media, all sorts of good stuff. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.
RGT 85, RGT 85. RGT